All right. We are here today with former number one offensive line recruit in the state of Arkansas.
Number one overall player out of the state of Arkansas. Better put some respect on that.
My bad.
Put some respect.
Played for Arkansas, and he's made his way to small town USA. Head coach for the Pea Ridge Blackhawks, Brey. What's going on, man?
Yes, sir. Hey, thanks for having me. Happy to be here. This is a heck of a setup. I love doing podcasts like this, especially with guys like you. I've heard a lot about both of y'all from a couple of mutual connections. So I'm excited to get started.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I don't know what you heard, but I guess
good things.
Yeah, of course. Let's talk a little bit about starting from, I guess, the beginning of the whole sporting career. Obviously, highly recruited coming into college. Chose Arkansas. Chose good choice.
Chose right
choice
for
there.
sure.
Absolutely.
So in that process, obviously being with the stature of your recruiting process, anybody else that you had serious consideration for going into college, or any close second, anything like that?
Yeah. I was very fortunate to have a great junior high and high school coaching staff that was able to kind of get me into these positions to be recruited. So, none of these things wouldn't have happened without coaches like the ones that I had, which were the real deal. So very fortunate there. When my recruiting process started, I guess it would have been the spring of my sophomore year. The University of Tulsa offered me. Their O-line coach, Herb Hand, is now, he's been all over the country, been at Texas, been at Auburn, I believe now is at UCF. But he was my first offer going out of high school. Very fortunate to be able to do that out of a team camp that we went to, is the Harber Wildcats. And then after that, it kind of just snowballed, I guess would be the word. I went to a camp over the summer that my offensive line coach took me to. We went to Oklahoma and to Auburn, I believe, and left both of those camps with offers. And after that, it was just kind of, whatever coaches, we talked to, it was assumed that there was an offer behind it, which is, at the time, something that, I didn't appreciate how wild and ridiculous that is. But very fortunate to have a very exciting recruiting career, I guess, coming out of high school. But as far as a close second, I think it was Oklahoma was where I was headed there for a long time. And I really liked the coaches, like Norman, loved just the whole, thing about Oklahoma football. I went to the Battle of Bedlam with them and OSU. And that game was really what kind of stepped me back from it. This was the pinnacle football game for the Oklahoma Sooners. There's an incredible atmosphere, incredible game, I believe, at the time. I think Toby Keith and Kings of Leon were on the sideline, which was those pretty wild, situations to be in as a 16-year-old kid. But I didn't quite feel the love there that I felt at just a normal Arkansas game. And so when I went there, didn't kind of feel that intensity or that passion for it. I knew that Oklahoma wasn't the place for me, and that Arkansas was my home.
Take that, Sooner fans out there. Derek, if you're listening, eat that.
So cool connection there with Oklahoma coming to the SEC here pretty soon. How do you think that's going to go for those Big 12 teams that are coming into the SEC?
It's an interesting move on their part. I imagine money is a big drive behind it, and really the only drive I can imagine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley does agree with you.
Yeah. So especially, you got a whole new coaching staff situation at Oklahoma, Texas, and the struggles that they've been through with the money and backing that they have really has been wild in itself. And so you look at them trying to join a much more intense schedule. Good luck. I'm excited to see what happens.
Good luck.
I think it helps Arkansas. I think it'll be fun. And again, those are two powerhouse programs that have a huge fan base and a lot of followers, and it'll be fun to kind of watch them integrate to the great SEC.
Also, for all y'all listeners out there, what Brey just did is as they say, the old DC dip and twirl. He's gonna pretend like he didn't just win a high school championship, and he's gonna pretend he wasn't 6'5" and 300 pounds walking into a room. Of course, he's gonna get a freaking offer. Come on now. Don't be so. I think you guys were runner-ups, or did you get to the semifinal your following year after you won it all back in Harber?
At Harber, yeah. We won it my junior year. Beat Southside down in Little Rock, and then our senior year, I believe we lost to Bentonville at Bentonville in the semis. So We had we had some great players on that team. The class above mine was stacked. You got guys like Houston Pruitt, who's now a coach at Harber.
Yep.
We got Ryan Luther, who was in my class, our quarterback. John Blake was the center I played with, is now the DFO for the University of Arkansas men's basketball team. So it's been fun to watch some of these guys and their journeys, but very talented football team that year.
So something we highly anticipated you saying, well, my second would be Alabama.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
how the heck was that sit down? Because I mean, come on, you look at Alabama, it's the Goliath. So it's like,
Yep.
How was their pitch? How was their approach? I know they were in a different place at that time, but they were still, a top 5 team. How's Nick Saban's approach and like how he talks with you? Like how is all that?
The biggest thing I remember from recruiting with Alabama was I went into his office and he's got a button there on his desk and he just touches it and the giant, the massive door that you just walk through just slams closed. It's the most intense situation. It's you, him, this door closes and it's on. So it was an intense situation, an intense, human being and Nick Saban. But for Alabama, it just didn't feel right. It was one of those things that they've got all the flashing lights. You're going to win championships there. You're going to be successful. You're going to have a shot at going to the NFL. But for me, it was playing for something that I loved, and that was Fayetteville. But Alabama was up there. Obviously, it's hard for them not to be. There really is no reason not to go to the University of Alabama as a recruit, especially, when I was being recruited.
Well, let's walk that back a little bit.
Sure.
No, absolutely. So you go to Arkansas, and did you know that you wanted to be a coach? Was like something you always been interested in, or did that just kind of happen?
That just totally happened. It was something where I came back after my NFL career that lasted about 7 days. Went up there, got hurt, got spit back out, which was incredible to say I was there and did it. But I knew.
Is that what happened? You got hurt?
Yeah. I had an injury, a lower back disc that completely got destroyed, disintegrated basically. So I had to come back, have surgery on that. I ended up a couple months later tearing my patella tendon in a freak accident that in the NFL, if it would have happened during a game or something, it would have been way worse. So found out pretty quickly it wasn't for me. But when I came back and I was doing my rehab here at Arkansas, University of Arkansas, Coach Bielema offered me a coaching job. And he also offered me the chance to coach one of the summer camps. And that's really where I kind of fell in love with it. And then with that opportunity coming to be a graduate assistant, I kind of knew this is what I wanted to do. So Coach Bielema was really the one that pushed me this direction. And I'm thankful for it every day.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. So our time, so the facilities that Pea Ridge has now, that was all we saw of that in when we were in school was a little model in the gym that was, this is going to be next year. And then we graduate and it's like monument.
It's colossal.
It is very impressive. I don't know how familiar you are with what the field looked like before that. The old Pea Bowl.
I've heard stories.
Yeah.
What's it on? Black Street down there? You head on down to Black Street. Go take a look at what that.
Yeah. I've been meaning to. I need to go check it out.
You got to. It's awesome.
Yeah. So walking, you come in to have would you start as a strength and conditioning coach, or was it offensive line coach at Pea Ridge?
It was both. So I came down, Coach Williams offered me the job to be the O-line coach, and then I would take over strength and conditioning as my second sport. Most coaches are going to teach or coach 2 different sports, and that would be my second sport obligation was strength and conditioning, which is a full-time job, which is something I love to do as well. It's what I did at the D2 college I was at before. So I was able to come down here, do that for a year. I knew eventually, I would love to take over in Coach Williams' footsteps and be able to lead a program like Pea Ridge. It's kind of, in my opinion, the dream job, which we'll get to that in a second. But it worked out to where, he had an opportunity to lead, to be an athletic director. And so it happened a lot quicker than I anticipated, but I think it worked out how it was supposed to. And, I'm very fortunate to be where we are. And like you said, the facilities at Pea Ridge right now are top notch, and they're getting better. We were actually about to talk to the school board about hopefully approving a plan for a new weight room, which should be, if everything goes well, hopefully done by July of this year.
Dang.
which is a huge deal. They actually just finished last week in closing our weight room that's on the second floor of that indoor. So it's an unbelievable space. I mean, it is a strength coach's, best type situation. It's awesome. So we're really excited to get the rest of this hopefully done, and it will really be a difference maker for our kids, not just our seniors, but our junior high kids, our seventh graders, any youth sports that we can work with to get in there. I mean, it's a complete game changer.
Oh yeah, I have a 8-year-old that just started football this year, and he was excited to play out there. And I was like, man, you have no idea. Like I went back and looked at games and stuff. Like what you're starting in is insane. Looking back at what it was before, so it's awesome to see.
Yeah. Our youth program, those guys do an unbelievable job. It's fun to go out there on Saturday mornings in the fall and put Friday night behind us and watch those kids get after it. And that place is packed on Saturday mornings. It's really cool. It's a really cool deal. Yeah.
Is there still any ritual or anything like, I don't know, like for instance, back when we played back, we weren't anything special or nothing, but like every Friday morning we would go to Blackhawk Grill. All the football players would go to Blackhawk Grill. We get a free milkshake, a free burger before every game. And then you do the walk down to the field. Is there anything like that still at Pea Ridge, like a little tradition that all the players do?
Yeah. So one of the things that we do, and we had to kind of slow it down during the pandemic year, but we were able to get back to it this last year, was that our moms and dads cook our breakfast every game day morning, and they bring in our pregame meal.
That's awesome.
So our moms did an unbelievable job, and I cannot stress that enough. With every Friday morning was awesome to come into just huge spreads of home cooked meals, and the moms were there taking pictures of the kids. Their kids would show up. They'd get their jersey, get their food, and then we would take the seniors who had that first hour kind of off, and we would go read to the elementary school. So that was our Friday morning ritual. Every Friday, we'd able to do all those three things, and it was very special. It was very cool to see those kids pumped up about being Blackhawks in the future, and our kids able to break bread with each other, and our moms able to be a part of it. So that to me was one of the best things about this last season, was those meals that our parents brought with us.
That's freaking awesome.
I believe it. I think I heard more about getting to run out with a high school team this year than I did about any of the games I played in. So I'm pretty pumped about that.
Yeah, good. That was also very cool to have those kids running out behind them. They were freaking pumped. It was awesome to watch them. They'd be in the indoor, and obviously they're excited. And we got some guys trying to focus in for the game, some guys trying to be loose, and every player has their own pregame ritual. And then you got about 30 to 40 youth sports kids just losing their minds. It was a fun indoor situation for that hour before kickoff.
Yeah. So you said something about pregame traditions and rituals and stuff. When you were in college, did you have any?
I didn't. Man, the only tradition I had, and it was, I don't know, stupid. I don't know why. I think on a Friday night by my freshman year, I fell asleep to a Mumford & Sons album on the flight. And so that became my tradition. So on Fridays, nothing but Mumford & Sons. We're going to chill. We're going to tone it down. And then Saturday we let loose. But that still is true today. So if it's a Thursday night, I'm Mumford & Sons only. I don't know why.
Freaking away.
Hey, traditions, rituals, superstitions are only done if they don't work. So
exactly. Yeah. So I'm not about to stop it now.
Exactly. You had you talked about
Mumford & Sons. I can't get over it.
You talked about Bielema a little bit. You obviously had some great coaches in high school. What do you think you took from those coaches that you had throughout your career that you use now?
Yeah, I'd say the first real memorable coaching advice that I got was by Coach Matthews at Southwest, and he looked at me and he said, "You are sitting on a gold mine, treating it like a mine of tin." And at the time, I'm like, what the heck does this mean? Whatever, walk out. And that saying has stuck with me since, I don't know what year I was in junior high. I mean, 2008, 2007, maybe. Mm-hmm. But it meant so much to me. And the more I thought about it was, I might have an ability, or I might have a gift, or I might have this support team. That could be the gold mine I'm sitting on. And if I'm not going to appreciate that and give my best effort with what I've been given, what am I doing to the people around me? So that's something that really stuck with me. And that's something I've told a couple of our players, like, hey man, you have an incredible, family supporting you. You have talent. but you're going to go waste it in the classroom by not paying attention or coming in with bad grades. You're not going to be eligible next year, right? Are you going to do things in the weight room to skip reps when you've got these people pushing you and so many people on your team? That to me is the best coaching advice I've ever received. But behind, with Coach Matthews, Coach Strubing was my offensive line coach at Harber, an unbelievable human being, great coach, but an incredible leader off the field. And that's what I took from him was, if you don't have your things in order off the field, you're not going to be successful on it unless you're a freak NFL athlete, whatever.
Right.
You go screw around, have fun. But for the majority of everyone, you got to get your things in order before you can really excel, how you're meant to. So that was something I got from my high school coaches, Coach Strubing and Coach Wood. And then I played for 2 years under Coach Petrino. After that, I played for Coach Bielema for 2 years. Coach Sam Pittman was my offensive line coach there. So very fortunate to get so many different coaching, personalities, that they attack you with so many different angles. And I was able to sit down and, hey, this works, with me. This doesn't work with me. Why isn't it working with me? Is that something I want to carry with me into my coaching career? So able to have so many different role models, very fortunate. After the University of Arkansas, I was at Memphis for 1 year with Mike Norvell. The offensive line coach I worked with there, Ryan Silverfield, is now their head coach at Memphis. So some incredible mentors in front of me. And I think that's very special and very important to realize my career is what it is because of those guys.
Damn.
That's cool. So obviously from a fan perspective, people have their opinions on differences between Petrino and Bielema. From a player's perspective, getting played for both of them, what was some differences between them?
Yeah. Now you look at Coach Petrino and maybe his reputation is a little tougher coach. Sure. But won a lot of football games, so there's give and take there. Well, what did he do well? What did he not do well? What are things that I agreed with or didn't agree with? And at the time, I was young, 17, able to soak it all in. And I really appreciated him and his coaches' demand for perfection on the football field. You look at the tiny little details. That's one of our, at Pea Ridge, we say take flight. And that L stands for the little details. And I got that from Coach Petrino. If you go up there and you don't know which step you need to step with or what that defense is about to do based on their alignment, then you're going to lose football games. So I appreciated their commitment to the time they put into game planning, to film watching and teaching us. And so that was something that is, I think, crucial in football. And something that is
they drilled the same stuff on us with the military, with attention to detail. You know what I mean? Every little thing.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. And so there's that portion of it. And then you got Coach Bielema, who is puts in the same amount of intensity, but it's a different kind of intensity. Now, for example, Coach Pittman, you're seeing it right now. The kid, why are our players playing so well? It's because they want to. It's because they want to play hard for these coaches. When you got a coach like Sam Pittman or Coach Bielema, you want to play for that dude, right? Because he cares about you and loves you. And that's something that we bring into our flight as well. That F stands for family for a reason. It's you got to be a brotherhood. You got to care about each other. Because if you don't, it's going to show up on the field, right? You're not going to do those little things that your brothers are depending on you for. And I would imagine I'm not a military guy. I've got a lot of friends who are, but I would imagine there's a lot of that in there as well.
Oh yeah.
You got to depend on your brother.
Damn.
Sure. So you had mentioned a little bit ago.
And if you don't pay attention to those little things, you'll end up like us back when we were in Pea Ridge, and you'll wind up winless. So
exactly. You mentioned Pea Ridge kind of being a dream job for you. You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes, please do.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, a place like Pea Ridge is kind of a hidden gem. It's special in the fact that on the football field that you are aligned vertically 12th grade through our youth sports. We have a great relationship. We're able to talk about the same things. That flight is for that whole program, right? We want all of our kids, as soon as they come in, we've got our 6th graders coming in right now, working with us in the afternoon about flight, teaching them what that family means, teaching them that the intensity, the grades, the hard work, and the toughness, those are the pillars of our program. And so we're able to work with them, 6th grade and up. And then they were able to sprinkle a little bit into youth sports. Whereas other places, that's not quite the case. You've got whole different things going. I know there's a lot of push to unify a lot of those sports around the state of Arkansas, but Pea Ridge, we got that rolling right now. And then you look at the geographics of being east of Bentonville. Bentonville flows west into Bentonville West very quickly and is rapidly growing. And now we're seeing a lot of that coming east. So players are moving to Pea Ridge. But for me, what I truly love about it is that small town vibe. Everybody truly does know everybody. Everybody knows what's going on. It's you drive by, you see, oh, there's his house, there's coach's house, we're going to go to the Cannonball Cafe for lunch and see 20 people. I love that about Pea Ridge, and I think that's what makes it special. Is that, and then we only saw that further proven in the moms bringing those breakfasts in. That's not something you get everywhere, and it's such a cool deal. Miss Anderson was in charge of it this year. She did an unbelievable job and continues to do an unbelievable job. We're working with her and Creekside Wedding Venue and the Cottons to get us a football banquet put together. And that's something that Miss Anderson's going to set up more or less on her own. She's done an unbelievable job. And that's just part of that Pea Ridge, just small town family culture that's already built in there. And that's perfect for what we want as a football program, because we do want to be close. We do want to be able to break bread with each other outside of football and be able to do things in the community that are a little difficult to do other places.
You gotta bring a damn tear to my eye.
It is always impressive to me. I mean, I've obviously been back to several games throughout the year since being out of school there, and watching how much it's grown. I mean, it is literally night and day, the amount of growth.
It's crazy.
But walking into this, walking through the stands or walking along the fence, whatever, any teacher or coach you ever had, every time I go up there, you end up saying hi to Coach Clark, whatever.
I'm about to say, I saw your picture with Coach Clark. I was like,
it's always the same. Like, hey, how you doing? Like, they talk to you just like they did in school. And it's the amount of kids and people that come through there, and they still have that kind of thing about them. It is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next time you see Coach Clark, ask him if he remembers back. Oh, hell, we were in 7th grade. If he remembers the first time Welcome to Detroit City came on, and he kicked his feet up on the desk playing Welcome to Detroit City in the class.
There's a little bit of history there in English with Coach Clark.
Yes. No, I'll ask him about that tomorrow.
Ask him about his shoe collection, too. I'm sure he's got a few he can show you.
Oh, it's powerful.
That man used to have the FedEx guy come to his desk to deliver shoes that he had ordered online.
I 100% believe that. That is awesome.
Last thing I got for you, man. Obviously, everybody saw the picture going around with Coach Pittman and Kendall Browse up there at the facility. To kind of talk about how that came to be and what all you got out of that.
Yeah, no, that's special to be able to sit down with some of those coaches and for them to be around and see the program and talk about what we're doing. I didn't expect it, at all. I got a call from Coach Kennedy, said, "Hey, tomorrow morning we'd love to stop by, me and Coach Browse, and full speed ahead. Come down here and see what we got going." And was able to give him a tour of the high school, sat down in Tony Travis's desk on his office, and we sat down for probably 45 minutes to an hour just talking about Pea Ridge. And we talked about our kids. We talked about what we're doing as far as our vertical alignment with our youth programs and 7th grade, and compared it to what they came out of their high schools. Some of the coach didn't have that. They didn't see, or they saw the potential in it and how important it is, but they didn't have that where they're from. And so they agree, man, it's a special deal here. And we're also able to sit down and talk about some of our guys, guys who might have a shot, playing at the next level. And so it's cool to get advice from them. We're actually going to go down there, I believe, in 3 weeks and just sit down and watch film with them, go down and talk about offense, defense. We're going to bring our whole Pea Ridge coaching staff and sit down and just clinic with the University of Arkansas. And that's a special deal to be able to do. Obviously, they've got good things rolling there. And anytime you can just sit down with a coach who sees the game differently, I think is huge, no matter where it's at. So we're fortunate to be able to do that. And then I had no idea Coach Pittman was coming. It was Monday, Martin Luther King Day, and it was probably 2:30, and my phone rang, and I ignored it because I was taking a nap, I'll be honest. I was asleep, ignored it. I got a second call, and these were all like number blocked kind of situations. So I thought it was some robo call. So I ignored the second one. Called me back the third time, woke me up, freaking grabbed it. "Hey, who is this? What's going on? What do you need?" It was, hey, this is Coach Overton here, University of Arkansas. We'd like to come by with Coach Pittman. Yes, sir. Come on, please. We'd love to. So I was kind of fired up when I woke up, but it was great to have Coach Pittman by, and he sat down and we talked for another hour, watching our junior high kids work out. So he was able to see the junior high program and the off season that we have rolling with them. We showed him the indoor and then the upgrades that we're getting up in the weight room. And it's cool just to have those coaches up there and their perspective and be able to show off what we're doing in Pea Ridge, because I think it is special. And I think we are doing things the right way, both on and off the field with these kids. So,
yeah, kind of off the beaten path kind of question from me, which is what I tend to do. What were you benching back in college?
So my senior year, I don't believe we recorded a bench max because we were working on 225 for the combine and things like that. So my 225 rep at Arkansas was 37 reps. On pro day, I missed 37, hit it for 32.
Damn.
But that was a long time ago, boys. There ain't no way I'm hitting anything close to that these days.
That's why I said back in the day.
That's the best part. You don't have to prove it anymore. You
Nope.
just say that.
Exactly, right?
It's on paper. We can pull it up. I
Right.
mean, it's real. Who was, when you were at the University of Arkansas,
Mhm.
who was the strongest player on the team while you were there?
Ooh, strongest player on the team. The first thing that comes to mind is Jonathan Williams, pound for pound running back. Unbelievable. We would hit our squat day and he would be in the rack doing single leg squat. And I don't think I ever asked why coach had him doing a single leg squat, but when that sucker had like 415 on the bar, hitting it with one leg,
Oh my
that's
God.
still different. That might have been it. Maybe for him to put that much weight on his back, it doesn't do him any good. We got 800, 900 pounds up there.
Yep.
So let's cut it in half. But I do remember seeing that and just being kind of blown away.
Holy.
He was strong. I think Trey Flowers and I would kind of try and compete in the weight room. He was probably stronger in the legs. His squat was probably higher than mine. And then my bench was pretty up there. So it was close. But it was fun to compete with him, especially a guy like him who's had the success he's had. That he's a freak, man.
So when you were there, you were voted a team captain, I believe your senior year, was it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
How does something like that come into play with like just, with your peers voting you as something like that? Is that something that you kind of carry with you? Like always, like, do you remember that? Like, is that the kind of energy that you keep? Like when you're voted for a team captain by the people all around you, that's your teammates see something in you. Like, is that just, have you always just been kind of the leader of the pack everywhere? Like, is that just an Arkansas thing? And it was a one-off.
That for that to happen for a kid born in Springdale who grew up going to those games is a dream come true. I mean, honestly, that was probably my favorite moments in my career was being voted captain and be able to walk out there with guys like Brandon Allen, Alan Turner, and Trey Flowers, three unbelievable athletes and leaders. You look at Trey Flowers and Brandon's NFL career; they're still playing, killing it. This is very special. Yeah, that's the one thing that I carry with me is. For guys that I work with every day, and I didn't put in more effort than they did. They were all there too. I mean, we all were going through that thing together, and for them to pick me as a captain is very special, especially seeing it at how much I looked up to them. So it kind of goes both ways. And at the end of the day, man, we were a team just trying to win some ball games and grow closer together, and we did. We had a lot of fun doing it. And you're seeing it today with these Arkansas Razorbacks. You're seeing a group that is close knit, and that is what makes them different.
Damn.
Right. Yeah.
No.
That's all. That's all we got for you, Coach. We appreciate you stopping by and telling your story. I'm excited to see you take Pea Ridge football to the next level. I feel like you're going about it the right way. So just keep going, and we appreciate your time.
Hey, absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for having me on. I'd love to meet you guys in person sometime.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
you say when we're there.
All right, let's make it happen.
All right, man. Thanks for joining us, Brey.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, guys.
See you, man.